morning or good afternoon. I'm not even sure what time it is myself, but it's good to be on here with you before Shabbat. And I wanted to tell you a thought that I probably said before in Shul, but something that really touched my heart and something that's dear to me. And it's this week's Torah portion. One of the things Moses does is he reminds the Jews of the sin of the golden calf. And he tells them how he came down from the mountain with the holy tablets that God had made and given to him. And how he watched the Jewish people sinning with the golden calf. And he says the words in this week's Torah portion that I took the tablets and I broke them in front of your eyes. Okay? Now, take a minute here and think. Every word in Torah is detailed and nothing is there by chance. And Moses says, I broke them in front of your eyes. But I want to take a hold and I'm going to get back to that. I want to tell you a story about a survivor who lost his entire family in the Holocaust. He was a Gerer Chassid, a Chassidic Jew, who had lost everyone in the Holocaust. And he moved to Israel, then Palestine. He managed to escape. And besides losing his whole family, he lost his God. He left his faith and he had tremendous pain and anger to all that he had seen transpire and to all the pain that he had seen. But he loved the Gerer Rebbe, who he had such a close relationship with and had like a father figure to him. And he came to Tel Aviv and set up a meeting to meet with the Gerer Rebbe. And he came in to see the Gerer Rebbe. And he saw the Gerer Rebbe and he told the Gerer Rebbe all that transpired. And the two of them embraced and hugged and cried for a long time. The Gerer Rebbe himself lost much of his family in the Holocaust, and besides losing his family, he lost 200,000 of his disciples. Almost everyone was wiped out in the Holocaust. And he managed to escape, only with very few Chassidim and most of his family not being able to escape, and he restarted in Israel. And the Gerer Rebbe hugged him and cried, and the two of them cried together. And then the Gerer Rebbe said, I want to tell you a thought. And remember, this is a thought coming from someone who suffered the pain together. Only someone like that could have said it, not someone who didn't experience the suffering and the pain that this man who had come to visit him had suffered. And he mentioned this week's Torah portion, and he mentioned the story with Moses, and how Moses said, I took the tablets and I broke them in front of your eyes. And he asks, he says, every word in the Torah is exact. Why does Moses say, I took the tablets and I broke it in front of your eyes? What difference would it have been if he turned away and he broke it away from the Jewish people? What's the significance of breaking it in front of your eyes? And the Gerer Rebbe looked at this disciple of his who had lost his family and his faith, and in tears in his eyes he says, what Moses was telling the Jewish people was that in front of your eyes I broke the tablets. But there's a place, there's a world, there's a place of spirituality and holiness. There's a world of perfection high above where the tablets remain whole and non-broken. I broke them in front of your eyes in the perception of reality that us as human beings, as simple mortals see. But there is a place up on high where those tablets remain whole and remain complete. And what Moses was saying was like this, the Gerer Rebbe said. Look, the reality is that Moses went and he carved out 2 other tablets after he asked God for forgiveness to the Jewish people. But those tablets were not miraculous and were not the same as the first. And what he wanted to give and leave the powerful message to the Jewish people was that ultimately not everything in the reality and the perception that we see is the way it always is. And we don't understand everything, but there is a place in a world of perfectionness, of godliness, of wholesomeness, where these tablets stay whole. In our life, we all have the first tablets. The tablets, they represent the dreams and ideas and the perfection of a world that we vision and a life that we envision. And then what happens is, we all have something that shatters our luchot. We all have something that breaks those tablets. If it's the passing of a mother, of a father, if it's if it's the loss of your first job, if it's the pain of, heaven forbid, the death of a sibling or a child. But there is always that moment that might break and shatter our tablets, our world the way we saw it. My luck. They keep on building. It's been going on for 3 weeks. But the thing is that what happens after that is that we build new tablets. And we create secondary tablets that aren't the first and aren't as miraculous and aren't as perfect. And what Moses was telling the Jewish people was that in the life you experience, you'll have moments when your tablets are broken. But know that although you have to recreate new tablets that might never be the same as those first miraculous tablets in your life, that vision, that hope, there's somewhere in your soul, there's somewhere in this world, in your wholesomeness, that those tablets are still there and perfect and non-shattered. And the day will come when God will reveal to us the world of perfection, where we will understand the tapestry to all the madness that we see. And that's what the Gerer Rebbe was telling him. He wasn't denying his suffering, that they both suffered. But he was telling that there was a place where his parents, where his loved ones were still whole, were still perfect. I say this today for 2 reasons. First of all, my dear friend Jeff Sachs and Melanie Miller lost their mother this morning. And I know how hard it is to lose someone you loved so much, even if they're 92 years old and lived a full, beautiful life. But even when we lose someone that we care and love so much, we have to understand and know and have faith that there's somewhere a world up on high, under God's throne, so to speak, where these people stay whole and stay alive, continue watching and looking and enjoying and celebrating the lives we live and being connected to. And the second thing is because of the madness of COVID. And we all wonder what's going to be. And is this madness going to come to the end? And we can't fathom and make any sense of what's going on. Here we're coming to September and schools might not open again. We don't see an end in sight. And it's always important to remember this verse from the Gerer Rebbe, this thought, that sometimes things are broken in front of our eyes. But that's only the reality of perception that we see. Sometimes when you're in the forest and you're walking around and you see so many trees and so much wilderness, and you wonder, what's this madness? Nothing makes sense. But if you go in a helicopter maybe above high and you follow the method and the style and the way the trees are cutting, you suddenly see a different reality and you understand how the trees go and the method to what they do. Shabbos, my dear friends, God bless you. For those of us joining us in shul tomorrow, we'd love to see you at 10:30. Our condolences to Jeff Sachs. And may we celebrate Simchas. Have a great Shabbos.